Hi guys, it's Mary Jo from Mary Jo's Creations. Welcome back to my channel. If you if you've been here before, thank you so much for coming back. It means the world to me. If you are new here, I hope you like it here. Welcome. I love to crochet while I talk, and sometimes I'm a little nutty. But I hope you like it, and I hope you stay. Um, Today, it is late right now. I had a busy day and a not so busy day, if that makes sense. Um, my fibromyalgia has been acting up a lot today, but I've been working on a few things today. Now, as you know, I'm working on the blankets. So I'm doing all the squares for the pink and purple blanket. It's being made with all the leftover yarn that I had from Valentine's Day. The Valentine's Day challenge and my birthday sweater, I think it was. So it's a bunch of pinks and white and red and purples. Oh, so I've been working on that. And if you've watched the videos, I've been working on that for a little while now. And I needed a break. I needed a break from all the pink and all the squares because it's 35 squares that I need for the blanket. And they're all 9 rounds. So it's taking a bit. And I needed to do something that, while I'm doing the blanket, I can do a project that's a little bit smaller and, at least once a day, sit down and do something different. And that way, as I'm making the big blanket, I'm working on something smaller. So I'll have, a finished product in between making the blanket, if that makes sense to you. I feel like if I'm only working on the blanket and I've been working on it, I was trying to get it done, but because of, my situation, it's been taking me a little bit longer than it normally takes me. And because of that, it's like, I feel like even though I am getting so many squares done, I feel like I'm not accomplishing much, if that makes sense to anybody. So I wanted to start on a project where once a day, I can grab one thing and do that for like an hour, hour and a half, and then work on the blanket. And then, like the next time I go to crochet, I sit down, I work on some squares for the blanket. And then, the next time I sit down, I work on either what I was working on before or I work on something else. Because today I started 2 new projects. All of that to say that. I started 2 new projects. This, if you could see, I am doing another granny square, but it's totally different colors. And I'll get to this in a minute. But today, I went to go sit in my backyard for a little while. It was the first day where it was actually a nice day outside. It wasn't cold at all. And it was a little breezy, but it was nice. So this morning, for about an hour, I went and I sat outside. And I wanted, obviously, to crochet outside. So I wanted to take a project with me to sit there. But because I was working on the granny squares, number 1, I didn't feel like working on the granny squares. Number 2, I wasn't going to take all that yarn outside. I wanted something that was just one skein that I was going to be working on. And, sit out there just for about an hour. I sat out there maybe 45 minutes. I don't know. I wasn't timing myself. When I started feeling pain is when I got up and came inside. So when I was thinking about what I wanted to take outside, I decided that I was going to take one of the new yarns. Now, if you remember, I told you a few videos ago that I had gotten some yarn from Walmart with a gift card that I had gotten. And I had bought the yarn to make sweaters like my, that fuchsia one that I have. I forget what I called it. But that V-neck sweater that I made. And I wanted to do it in some nice spring colors. So I ordered 3 different colors of yarn. But one of the colors that I bought, I needed 4 skeins to do a sweater, and they only had 3. So I got the 3 anyway, but I can't make a sweater with it because I don't have enough. What I decided was that I was going to make a shawl with it. That's what I took with me outside. I'm going to show it to you right now, and then we'll discuss what's in my hands at the moment. I wanted to take something outside, and I might tomorrow, if it's a nice day again, I am going to go sit outside and get a little fresh air, because I really don't go anywhere, so I'm usually in my house all day long. It's very rare that I go out unless I have to go to the store or go to my friend's house, and, you know, I'm normally in the house. And my landlord lets me go sit out in the backyard. I have a key, like, there's a gate, it's a whole thing. You know, it's not like a backyard that anybody can use. So this morning, she was actually here, and she's like, why don't you come sit outside? And I was already thinking that anyway. So I wanted to take something with me that was going to be easy. 1 skein of yarn, I could just sit there and crochet for a little while, and that's what I did. So I got this yarn. I thought it was really pretty. I had never worked with metallic yarn before, and it's soft. I think it's a little scratchy, not like scratchy. It's not bothering my skin, but you can tell there's, you know, the softness is a little bit less because of the, I guess, it looks like tinsel that's wrapped around it, to be honest. That's exactly what it looks like. But anyway, I decided that this one, since I wasn't going to have enough to make a sweater, because it's 328 yards, and I only had 3. Now, it might be enough to make a smaller sweater, because that one did come out a little bit big, but I didn't want to take any chances. So what I decided that I was going to do with these 3 was make a shawl, a nice triangle shawl. And I'm, you know, of course, if you've been here, you know I'm writing the pattern myself. And this is what it's looking like so far. Can you see it? I think it looks so pretty. It's going from a purple to a pink. I think the next color that is going to come out is white. Yeah, the next color is like a whitish color, and then it goes into gray. And I have 3 of these. So I started doing the shawl, and I'm just going to work it up. Now, I am planning on doing, it's not just going to be a solid granny stitch. I just started working on it. I haven't written anything down yet or anything like that, but I do have plans to do something. What is that? Feels like glitter. Anyway, I do have something in my head. But this is the start of it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm on the 10th round. And I stopped here. And this took me about 45 minutes, I think, or so. I did frog it a little bit, but, you know, I don't know if that's good or bad, but it is what it is. And I figured that, you know, every day I go outside for a little while. Sorry. I can work on this. And hopefully it'll be done by the end of the week. Oh, if I haven't mentioned it, I'm sorry. I am all over the place. Today is Monday, the 13th. Which is my daughter's birthday, but she doesn't watch my channel. So anyway, when I came back inside, I did work on some of the squares for the blanket. I was able to get, I think, 3 full squares finished, and I was working on another square. And then my friend came over, and she, I was sitting down for a little while, and I was thinking, like, I had been thinking about it earlier, because I had put it on to go outside, my patchwork cardigan. And I was thinking that what I would like to do is the same concept, but instead of doing, you know, patches, like long patches, like I did where it was like one long rectangle, and then I folded it over, I was thinking that I can do squares. And sew the squares together into a rectangle. And then you know, sew it in the back and do like I did my patchwork sweater. But instead of doing one long rectangle, do granny squares. And that's where this came in. Once that thought hit my mind, I had to pick it up. So I went and grabbed some yarn, and I was trying to think what colors I wanted to use. And I thought of like flower colors, like summer colors. So, and I am doing this in Big Twist, so it's not as thick as Loops and Threads, which is what I made the patchwork cardigan with. So it's a little bit thicker, it's a little bit heavier. This one, because Big Twist is thinner than the Loops and Threads, it won't be as heavy. And I decided that I wanted to do like the colors of a flower, like a sunflower kind of almost. And I was thinking, I don't know how many squares I need. think I'm going to do these the same size as the ones I'm making for the blanket, which is 9 rounds. I have to measure them and see if they're long enough, wide enough. And then I'll know how many I need. But I was thinking, and I'll show you, I was thinking about doing this. And the reason why I was trying to finish this before I showed you, I'm done with this round, so I'm going to slip stitch, chain 2, okay. I'm surrounded by yarn and granny squares, I swear, this is crazy. Alright, so what I'm thinking is, here's the pretty square. Now there's the square. That's what I got so far. And I am going to, hold on, do this yellow right here for the last 2 rounds. And I was trying to see how it was going to look. Now, I wanted to do a granny square first. And then I think like the next one, I might do it a little bit differently and kind of like a sunburst square, although I've never done them before. So I might figure out my own way that I want to do it and figure out what I would like to do. But I think I want like a few like this. And once I do this one, I'm going to try and do the other one the way I see it in my head. But I really like the way it's coming out. It looks, at least to me, it looks muted on my screen. But this is the square that I was working on right now. And like I said, I'm going to add on this color to it right now to do the last 2 rounds. Because these are going to be 9 round squares. So I have 2 rounds of the green, 2 rounds of the brown, and 3 rounds of this butter yellow. What is this color? Pale yellow. And now I'm going to do 2 rounds of varsity yellow. And then the next one, I think I'm going to do it a little bit different. Like I said, I could see it in my head. I just don't know how to explain it. But I just wanted to come on here and show you what I've been working on today. And what I'm going to be working on this week. I don't know if I'm going to work on every single project every day. I'm going to try. That's going to be the goal. So that way I feel like I'm actually, like, I know that one of these things is going to get done before the blanket. Even if I work on the blanket all day long, I'm still not going to get the blanket done anytime soon. So if I take 1 hour or 2 hours out of the day and work on something else, at least I know that at the end of the week, something will be done. You know what I mean? Because I know I'm not going to get this blanket done before the end of the week. Or if I do, that's going to be a miracle. But I still have these squares left and these squares left. These are the squares I'm going to put purple in. And I think these are the squares that I'm going to try and, you know, just have pinks in them, so that there's an even disbursement of squares. And I'll show you what I was working on today. So I'll finish this one before I go to sleep. But this was the last square I was working on before my friend got here. And that's what also got me thinking of starting this square, because she picked it up and she's like looking at it and she was like, didn't understand why like this was different, why I stopped, why the squares weren't even, I guess. And I was explaining to her that this to me was more of a where I feel the yarn should go. And, you know, she was like, oh, do you ever make them in a, like, where it's all, you know, one round is one solid color, like this one here? And I was like, yes, I do make squares like that. And as a matter of fact, I was thinking of doing something like that now. And that's when I said that, it just triggered, and I was like, I'm just going to go start it now. And instead of saying I'm going to do it later, I'm going to try and work on these 3 projects all at the same time, within the same day, take time to do a little bit on one project, a little bit on the other project, and a little bit on the other project. So when I go outside to get my air for the day and sit outside, I'm going to take this with me because it's one skein and I can work on it and not have to take a bunch of different skeins outside. And if I sit out there for an hour, I'll work on it for about an hour a day. And then I will rotate between doing the granny squares for the blanket and the granny squares for the cardigan. Now it is going to be a granny square cardigan, but it's going to be a little bit different than normal granny square cardigans that I've made in the past. And I think I'm going to like it. I think it's going to come out nice. But I just wanted to come on here and just, let you know what I'm doing. I'm trying to see. Where did I? Right. Okay. So we're going this way, I think. I don't know, because I wasn't paying attention. But I'm going to, I just wanted to share with you. So that's what I think I'm going to be doing this week. And, hold on, guys. I'm trying to do this blanket, but also do things that I know that at the end of the week, I'm going to have at least one project that's finished. You know what I mean? I can do a bunch of these squares in an hour and a half, maybe like 2 or 3 squares. And on that note, let me show you the ones that I've done already. So today I did this square, this square, and this square. So I finished 4 squares completely. I have this one that's almost done, which I'm going to finish up as soon as I'm done with this square. And if I still feel like I want to crochet after that, after I finish that square, then what I'm going to do is try to do the other square. And then before I go to sleep, I'm going to grab my cardigan, it's in my workroom, and measure it so I can lay out the squares and see how many squares I'm going to need for the cardigan itself. And I'll be able to tell, because again, I'm making these the same size as I'm making the ones for the blanket. And I can use those to see how many squares I'm actually going to need. And then once I wow, it's been a rough day, once I know how many squares I need, I'll know how many of each square that I need to make. And I will show you what the other square is going to look like. So I need two colors, two rounds of this color. Now, normally the reason I don't really like, and I'm going to be 100% honest with you. The reason I don't like to make squares like this is because when I make squares like this, I do basically what everyone else does. I finish it off and I cut off the yarn. I can do knots, but honestly, and I know how to do it, I just really don't feel like it. I have to make sure that the yarn is at the right place, and I don't feel like doing that right now. I'm not in the best mind space at the moment to try and figure that out. So I'm going to do them the way most people do them, which is they do a round. When they're finished with that color, they bind, like bind it off, and they start a new color. And the reason why I hate doing that is because I hate ends. When I do the squares my way, I'm only left with two ends, the center and when I finish it. And when I do them this way, it depends on how many colors I have. So I'm going to end up having 1, 2, 3, 4 ends to weave in. And I don't like that. But I know it looks pretty, and I know it's going to look very pretty. I know it's going to come out gorgeous. And so I'm willing to do it because I don't want that sweater, the one that I have in my mind that I can see in my head. I know that it has to be done this way. There are projects where I want them done the way I'm doing the ones from the blanket. And then there are projects where I want them done a certain way. And like I've always said, for me, it always depends on the project. Whenever I'm, doing anything, it always depends on the project. Sometimes I have a way, not sometimes, I always have a way that I see the project in my head. Sometimes it doesn't work out that way, but I always do have a vision of what I want to make. Whether it works out or not, sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But at least I try to do it that way and see if it works. And when I was picturing this cardigan, because I've actually been thinking about it all day, I had gone for a walk too, and I had worn that cardigan, and I was thinking, what if I had a cardigan like that one, but the panels, the two panels that I used to sew together, I could make them out of granny squares. And it's been stuck in my head since earlier today, and I've learned that when I have something like that stuck in my head, I have to get it out. Because if I don't, I might forget it. And when it's that strong, when it's something that I keep thinking about and thinking about and thinking about, like all day long, that's when I know I need to grab the yarn and the hook and start it. Because there's sometimes where I'll think of a project and I'm like, oh yeah, that would look nice. But I never, it'll just, I don't know if I'm explaining right. It's something that'll pop into my head and I'll be like, oh, that would be nice. But then, before I know it, I don't, I forget about it or it goes away. And when it's something that is always, in my head all day long, I can't stop thinking about it, that's when I know I need to grab my hook and my yarn and at least start it. So I can see the vision in my head come to life. And if I like it, there's been times where I started working on something and then I'm like, no, I don't like the way that looks. And I rip it apart, and it's, no harm, no foul, because at least I know that that's not, what I was seeing in my head is not going to work. And that's why, like, when I first start a project, I really don't write anything down until I know that that's what I want to do. And when I couldn't stop thinking about this, I was like, no, I have to start it today so that way it's started and it's out of my head, because it didn't want to leave my head. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go work on this and finish this square. Then I'm going to go finish that square, because I only think I need one more round on the granny square for my blanket. And if I can get 4 squares done today for the blanket, that's awesome. That would be great. And if I can get 2 of these squares done, that would be great too. So that way I know, because I'm not going to do another one of these. I'm going to do the other one that's in my head and get that out. Because then the idea is to use a darker brown to join them all together. And that'll give me the exact width that I want. So I'm going to join, if I need, let's say, 6 of these squares, I'll join all 6 together. Well, yeah, 6 squares for each panel. So I'll join all 6 together for one panel, join all 6 for the other panel, and then I can put them together, and they're going to be all put together in the dark brown. And then I might do the sleeves in this brown. That's what I'm thinking right now. Is that subject to change? If you've been here with me for a while, you know that that is absolutely a possibility. But for this moment, I believe that that's how I'm going to do it. And I would like to have at least one of each square that I want to do for the cardigan today. And who knows? Because see, like, and if y'all are like, you crochet a lot, I think you'll understand what I'm saying. Like, just doing these squares for the granny square blanket, it's like sometimes I would sit down and I'm like, oh my God, I've been working on these squares all day. I don't want to do this anymore. And I wouldn't crochet as much. And now, knowing that I have this for the cardigan and the squares, I will be more motivated, or try to push myself a little bit harder to, sit down at least 3 times a day and crochet, or maybe 4 times a day. And it also depends on how I feel. But if, I don't know, I guess it's like the monotony of doing the same thing. Like, if you understand what I'm trying to say, let me know. Because I think it's not coming out right. If you understand me, let me know. But it's like, I just feel like it's more variety, even though I'm doing granny squares. More granny squares. They're different granny squares. These aren't pink and purple. I already don't really like the color pink. I know that some of you might get mad at me, but I'm not a pink girly. I've never been a pink girly. I've been a purple and black kind of gal. My favorite colors were always purple and black. Now, if I had to choose to wear a different color, then it would probably be brown or green. Like the ones that are in the center. Now, the reason why I'm putting the yellow is because I want it to be for summer, right? So you need a nice light summer color, and I don't want to look at pink anymore. I am tired of looking at pink. Granted, there's pink in the shawl that I'm making, but you know, there's also gray and white and purple. And it's not a granny square. So I just needed something a little bit different. So I'm going to finish this square right here. And I will come back and show you, before I go to sleep, what I have finished. Oh, I'll show you the square now because it's almost done. So I'm looking at the clock, and I actually do need to take a break. My left leg is like completely numb at this moment. So it's perfect timing because I have been sitting here talking to you for about 37 minutes. And I was sitting here a little bit before and started the square. I didn't want to start it. I wanted to start it first before I came on to see if that's how it was going to stay. And I did end up frogging it a little bit because I had started the yellow right on the green, and then I decided that I wanted to put the brown instead in between. And let me make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yes. All right. I hate ends. I hate weaving in ends. That's one of the reasons why I hate doing squares like this. But they're so pretty. But anyway, I digress. And here you go. What do you think? You think it looks pretty? Should the green be in the center or the brown be in the center? I don't know, but I'm going to take a break. And when I come back, I'll either work on it a little bit more with you or show you what I've got done. But I'll see you in just a second. Hey guys, so I can't think apparently, go to speak and everything just falls out. I started to edit my video and I realized that I didn't film an outro last night. And this morning I had a doctor's appointment, so I'm just going to do the outro right now. I didn't have a chance last night. It was late. I started working on the other square, and I'll show that to you right now. Hold on. Okay, so last night I did work on that other square, and I was trying to figure it out, and I figured it out. I did it. It might look a little wonky. I think it'll even out once I, attach them, but I got it. I figured it out. And the reason why I didn't film an outro is because by the time I figured it out and I got up to take a break because I was, in pain, and it was past midnight. So I was so tired that I did not film anything after that. I just put everything away and got ready for sleep. But last night I did finish this square. So yesterday I made 4. So yay me. I believe I showed you guys this one. I finished this one last night, and I think it's so pretty. And then, and this is one of the reasons why I hate making these kinds of squares, because there are ends everywhere. I made this one. Now, it's, again, it's looking a little wonky. I think that once, you know, I attach it, it hasn't been properly stretched either, because if you know, I like to, like, give my yarn a good stretch after I'm done with it. And this is what my square looks like. Now, I think that once I, again, attach it to the other square, it'll even out. But this is what it looks like. Let me know what you think. It's the first time I've ever done anything like this. I don't know how it looks. I don't know. I like it. I think it looks pretty. I think I might have used a little too much brown. Maybe like 1 round of brown would be better. But I like the way it looks. Let me know if you like the way it looks. And I did also lay it out. So I think that I'm going to need 5 squares to do that long rectangle pattern. Wow. What is wrong with me? I need 5 squares to do that rectangle panel that I need for the cardigan that I'm going to make. And so this, I believe, is wide enough. And then once I'm going to do the join as you go method to do these squares, right? So we're going to get an extra round. Wow, why are words right now are so difficult? I'm not even joking. I ripped this apart a few times. I tried to get it right. I might try to do it just a little bit differently to see how it works out. And see which one I like best. And I might actually only do 1 round of the brown and then see which, you know, one I like best. Now, I'm not taking this one apart, but I would use it for something else in case I don't, you know, use this square if I figure out a different way to do it. Because, again, I'm not using a tutorial. I'm just making this up as I go. I just figured it out, and maybe I could have started the flower. I might do this square a little bit differently, but this is, now that I'm looking at it, I'm thinking of a different way that I might like to do it. But anyway, this is what I did last night. So yesterday, I did 4 squares for the blanket, 2 squares for the cardigan, and I did have a chunk of the, not a chunk, but I had, I started the shawl, but we'll discuss that in the next video. So, I'm going to end this video here. Thank y'all so much for stopping by. I hope you like it here. I hope you enjoyed the video. And I hope you keep coming back. We are going to keep working. We are going to do work on the squares for the blanket, squares for the cardigan and the shawl. Right now, that's the main focus. And we're going to see how much we can get done this week. So at the end of the week, or maybe like Saturday, I'll do a video. The squares are going to be kind of hard because I've got them all together. But, you know, I don't even know which ones I made and which ones I haven't. But hopefully, by the end of the week, they won't be separate squares anymore. And they should, you know, all be done. One can only hope, right? So, at the end of the week, I will show you everything that I've finished within this week. Hopefully, like I said, starting this new system that I'm trying to do, where it's just, you know, sorry, I have such a headache. And I did eat, but I'm not feeling too hot. But anyway, I'm just trying something a little bit different, and hopefully, not trying it differently. It's how I used to do it before when I first started. And I want to see which way is better for me personally when it comes to doing projects. Y'all can do it whichever way is comfortable for you. Don't do something just because someone else is doing it. I learned that the hard way. So, find your way of doing things. Find what works for you, which is what I'm trying to do right now. And you go and, you know, do you. Whatever you think works best for you, you do that. And I hope y'all have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for stopping by. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. It means the world to me, and I'm going to keep making these videos, and I hope people watch them. I hope I can encourage somebody. I hope I can spread a little joy, a little encouragement, a little happiness. And I hope y'all have a wonderful day, and I will see y'all in the next one. Don't forget to like the video if you like it. And if you leave a comment, I promise I will respond to every single comment. I hope y'all have a wonderful day. Bye, guys.